until that limit, and then you just go like, boom, I have to shift, I have to change.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah, I get it 100%.
Me as a shaman, I see some of my friends sometimes, who just go into bad patterns. And I try to kind of guide them, because I am no one to change the path of anyone. So it's like, hey, maybe if you don't drink that much or you don't smoke that much, maybe you can balance more your life.
And I feel like you did that. And I want you to talk a bit more about that necklace, because I feel like it's really cool.
I got this necklace when my first trip of ayahuasca. Yeah. I did it with some ladies, some shaman ladies in Toronto, and they were very wonderful. They gave me this. Nowadays, the younger generation don't have that mental strength that the older generations had, in my opinion, because of the way they're being raised.
Because their attention span is too short.
Yeah, it's
because
cell phones.
7 seconds. You have the attention span of 7 seconds.
Welcome to Awaken Consciousness podcast. Here we are, third episode in Awaken Our Consciousness, with two special guests today, my cousin Ricardo and one of my best friends, Leo. Part of the journey of awakening your consciousness and guiding you into self-perceptions.
100%, yeah.
Today we're going to talk about very important topics in terms of self-awareness and consciousness. But before we start, I would like if you guys can introduce yourself a little bit, so also our audience know about us.
Yeah, not a problem. So first off, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and Rico for coming as well. Rico, I know you have a lot of background in spirituality, and myself, Leo, my background is more towards the Abrahamic religions. Concerning the topic that we're going to be discussing today, I feel like it's a good idea to kind of tackle the idea of spirituality versus religious beliefs, and how it kind of correlates, or how they intertwine, what is the common ground between both. And I would love to intersect that with both of your opinions and your introductions on to what your beliefs and perspectives are concerning your own experiences. And that's something I would love to dive into. Yeah, that's my intro. So Leo, and now it's Rico. Rico, go ahead.
Hi everybody, thank you for having me here, Diego. Leo, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Me too, my friend.
So my name is Ricardo. They call me Rico, my friends. I have vast experience in a lot of topics in spirituality, especially from my own personal journey and my own experiences. So it's quite interesting when you guys invited me over to discuss the topic of religion and spirituality. So would you like to begin with the topic?
Sure, man. Sure. I would love to. So Diego, do you want to start off with consciousness, or do we just hit it straight from where I began?
Well, let's do a dive of in between, because they're actually correlated, right? Spirituality, consciousness, and religion is part of that self-perception.
100%. And I would actually like to start off through one thing that he mentioned when we first came in, right? Things are about to pop off. Things are happening, they're shifting, everything, that energy's shifting into what is being played out. And I would really love to understand both your perspectives on how you see it unfolding. Okay, and that's something we could dive into directly or move into it slowly. So if you want, I'll begin here, okay? Concerning the Abrahamic religions, that includes Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all right? They're all connected in a way. Out of all three, the one that has been corrupted the most, if you'd like, would be Christianity, all right? Why? Because it decorates the worship of the sun. All right, and it does that through its holidays. So in order for you to understand what I'm saying, the plane that we operate on is the plane of absolute truth. There's one absolute truth to how a man's supposed to look. There's one absolute truth to how a woman's supposed to look. One absolute truth to how a man's supposed to act, and same for the woman. One absolute truth of how she's supposed to act. Your free will is your ability to move away from the absolute truth. So all dimensions coexist at the same time. You make one of them a reality through choice, and every choice that you make has a specific percentage of darkness and a specific percentage of light. So, when it comes to the absolute truth, there's one absolute truth to everything. When it comes to the Abrahamic religions, there are specific laws that need to be applied in order for you to understand how the laws of the universe work. So there are 613 laws. One of them, I'm just going to name a few of them. We're not going to go through all of them because I would love your input first, you know. But it's just like circumcision, for example. Don't eat pork. Sabbath, keep it holy. It's not Sunday, it's Saturday, you know. And there's a lot that goes into that, and it's also about like your moral grounds and where you take stand on what's your moral value. Where do you take stand? Where do you stand on? Do you stand on the words that you say? Are you a person that speaks? Are you a man of your word, or are you a person that's a hypocrite? You know, and that's basically what tells me if you are a believer in God or if you're not. Now, I don't not believe in spirituality. Spirituality to me is integrated through religion, okay? Because in Jewish mysticism and in Jewish literature and in Islamic literature, there are other spiritual beings amongst us. We are not the only creatures that are on this planet. However, it's by law that these creatures not interact with us. But the ones that do already broken the law. Do you get what I'm saying? So they already have taught in us specific things that we shouldn't have known. Kind of like forbidden knowledge or ancient knowledge or knowledge that is kept secret for a reason. You know, because the people that know this knowledge are going to be judged accordingly based off of that knowledge. So if you know, for example, what you need to do to gain the abundance, and let's say do it in an unwillful intent or hurting other people, then you're gonna get bad karma. In any case, I would love your input first. Let's have a discussion, and then we could like elaborate further. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty interesting. I agree with you in most of your statements. I believe that spirituality and religion go pretty much hand in hand, in my opinion. A lot of people will argue that, but for me, the main difference here is that spirituality is you go into yourself, your own belief, your own system of dealing with things internally. And religion is more like a collective of an institution that controls and dictates what you are supposed to act and be like according to certain laws that were written a long time ago by sacred scriptures, right?
Okay.
I believe the faith and spirituality are similar. It's just a difference in the approach that you take.
Or the application.
But yeah, exactly. Because, you know, once we start leaning away from that power struggle between either spirituality or religion, or trying to control one another, saying that one is better than the other, that's where things need to stop. Because if we all work together, religion and spirituality, we awaken people. And that's what we need to do. Awaken the consciousness, awaken the good in people. And that's what's happening right now. Because you mentioned something very, very important at the beginning. What's going on with the world right now? It's a plan by the dark forces.
It's going to be unfolding.
Unfolding.
Right? You think it's a plan by the dark forces that's going? I think there's always a continuous battle between dark and good, right? There's always that battle, and that spiritual battle translates into the 3D at some point. It just, truth will always come to light, you know. So it's not necessarily like the elite's plan. Also, it's also God's plan to battle the elites. So it's going to be a war in a way. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's a war, and that war. Sorry to interrupt you. That war starts within ourselves.
Yeah, 100%.
We battle the darkness and the light, and there's always, your battle is to gain balance, not to overtake the darkness, because you can't. We wouldn't function without darkness, you know. And just
how about this? How about, because this is how I see it. I see it that the people that have done the work, the inner work, to start like that, face their darkness and have gone through that, you know, dark night of the soul, if you'd like, to kind of like awaken and have a good idea on who their identity is all about, who they are. They have a clear perception of their soul and their purpose. Okay, that requires you to go through your own darkness. You know, you're not gonna get there without you understanding your own darkness and weaknesses at first.
Yeah, and that's the battle that you have within.
So imagine all these people that did the work. Okay, now they're resonating at a spot that is different than the people that didn't do the work. You know, that are people that are lost, that are still, you know, in this cycle of, you know, karmic cycles, traumatic cycles, just repeating the same thing over and over and over and over. So it's kind of like you're already separated. The good forces are separated from the evil forces. So the thing is, it's like, I get what you're trying to say. If we work all as a collective, as one, we'd achieve unity. But I feel like some people are meant to resonate here, and some people are meant to resonate here, and there's purpose in this war.
Yeah, but the problem right now, as I see it, is that there's more people resonating down here.
Yeah.
So that's creating a big imbalance.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do bad than to do good.
100%.
Because doing good requires discipline.
100%.
Requires for you to leave temptation, to not be addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, to the rush, to the thrill,
100%.
you know? That is the hard work, because we have been condemned here by taking our free will away from us, because they tempt us with little things, like the devil in religion says. They tempt you with the apple, right?
100%.
For us, it's different. We're tempted by darkness, by falling back into...
The devil, it symbolizes darkness. It's all one concept. So what you're saying is a unified thing. You don't have to, like, it's not like necessarily an apple. It's all evil forces, if you'd like. And you know the yin yang?
Yeah.
Dark and light forces. So it's the same in the Bible. It's the same in Islam. You know, it's the same in Judaism. But they tell you as well on top, like some of, let's say, God's creations, angels are made out of light. You know, they have different features. Demons are made out of smokeless fire, so they operate like frequencies. So they have the ability to, you know, like a frequency, expand and like minimize, so they can move at the speed of light. You know, they have different abilities than we do. Then you have the Mazzaroth, which is the zodiac. The zodiac are different entities with different energies, each one of them secreting a different force. The only reason you see them as planets is because our understanding is in 3D. We know of multiple dimensions that exist. You know, the reason you see it as a sphere is because that's our definition of it in 3 dimensions. But the fact that it has gravity means that its energy impacts you.
So what do you think is happening right now, in your own opinion, with the world and what's going on? And how would religion save that?
Of course. So there's prophecy that is connected to this. In Zechariah, they mention 2 olive branches that are going to come in the end of times, that are going to fight the war of God, if you'd like, or to fight the evil forces. Okay, it's Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David. This also validates the second coming of Jesus, because Jesus is the only prophet out of all the prophets that never had a kingdom. Moses had a kingdom. David had a kingdom. Solomon had a kingdom. Muhammad had a kingdom. Jesus is the only one that didn't have a kingdom. Okay, so there is a second coming. 2 messiahs in Jewish literature: Mashiach ben David and Mashiach ben Yosef. Messiah son of Joseph and Messiah son of David. Messiah son of Joseph, in my opinion, and I'm not going to force this on anybody, but this is just my knowledge on it, because life is a repetitive pattern. Life is repetitive cycles. So if you come from a lineage that, let's say, for example, I'll show you. How many brothers did Joseph have? 12 brothers. How many disciples did Jesus have? 12 disciples. What happened to Joseph? Joseph was sold into slavery by one of his brothers to Egypt.
So what does the prophecy say itself?
The prophecies, but let me just finish this concept, okay? So in Jesus was sold by one of his disciples to slavery into Rome. So that pattern automatically tells me that Jesus is Mashiach ben Yosef, Messiah son of Joseph. So then you have Messiah son of David, and that's the prophecy. The prophecy is there will be a coming of the Messiah, son of David. In Islam, it's Al-Mahdi, and in Judaism, it's Mashiach ben David. In Christianity, they think that this is the return of Jesus.
What is the difference between one Messiah and another?
In my opinion, it's not, there's no difference in, like, for example, Moses had a law, right? Moses had a job to do. Moses had powers. He was able to split the sea in 2. Jesus had powers. Jesus was able to walk on water. You know, Muhammad had powers. David had powers. Solomon was able to speak to demons. David's son, King David, King Solomon, was able to speak to demons. So every messenger, if you'd like, or every prophet had powers through God.
In my own personal opinion, I don't think that Jesus was a god or a messiah. They were just beings that were at a higher frequency.
Sure.
So they were more awakened. They had more power.
Okay. But don't you think that if you resonate at a higher frequency, you're able to unlock powers?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And like, for example, there's shamanic powers, there's healing powers, there's people that speak to spirits.
100%.
Awaken, you see things. In some experiences I have, I seen past lives. I felt I'm a healer. I can heal people through touch, to speak, through it's so many gifts that you have once you get into yourself and you find those gifts.
Exactly.
And you learn how to manifest them.
Exactly. So to me, each person has like specific powers that they can do. So what I'm referring to though specifically is this is specifically for the Jewish people. specifically through the Jewish lineage, because every prophet comes from the line of Abraham, line of Isaac, line of Joseph, you know. Even Islam comes from Ismail, right? Ishmael, which was Abraham's first son. So Ismail, Jacob, this is just like history, like Jewish history and the lineage of the prophets, okay? So there's something connected to that lineage, especially when it comes to the kingdom to come, abundance from God. You know, there's something about the forgiveness of the people through this tribe, you know, through the people of Israel. And that's not saying that there are people that don't deserve like heaven, that are not going to get heaven. It's just this is what I feel like we're heading to. We're heading towards this prophecy. Have you heard about the red heifer?
No, I haven't heard about it.
In Israel. You never heard?
Rico, put the micro closer.
You've never heard about the red heifer?
No.
Did you hear about the red heifer?
No.
You guys never heard of it? Okay, so right now Israel got 5 red cows from Texas, okay, to fulfill the prophecy and sacrifice it in Israel, okay, to purify the Jewish people and to build the 3rd temple. Okay, and that cow is very significant to the purification of the Jewish people, that sacrifice. And that cow has specific conditions. It can't be yoked. It can't have any white hair. It can't have, like, it has to be between the ages of 3 to 5. There are specific conditions. And when they sacrifice it, then the priest will, like, it comes with a king. So a king will be revealed to you, and God will reveal that king. And then the 3rd temple is built. And this is where, in the prophecy, they tell you that the coming Messiah, or Al-Mahdi in Islam, the Mashiach bin David in Judaism, they tell you that this man will come and he will unite like the Jews and the Muslims together, you know, and they will build the temple, and he will unite the enemies of Jerusalem, who's surrounding Jerusalem, all the Arab countries. So he's talking about Islam and Judaism unifying, and it makes sense. Why? Because Islam and Judaism are the same religion. Islam tells you this, like, this is what Islam does.
Brother, sorry to interrupt. All religions are the same. They're all the same. They're all similar.
I agree. I know what you're saying. No, but some differ. Like, for example, in Hinduism, you have multiple gods, right? In Buddhism, they made Buddha God, right?
Yeah, native religions have different gods as well.
Yeah. So in the Abrahamic religions, it's only one, the infinity, the beginning and the end. And there's no unifying, there's no other gods. And the one thing that God can't forgive or doesn't forgive is association with him. Is saying that other creatures that he created are gods. You know, he's honoring you as man. You know, God is honoring you out of all of them.
So, but where does Judaism come from? It's mostly based from the Sumerian text, like every other religion, right?
Well, listen, it's not based off of the Sumerian text, because it's a lineage through 12 tribes that had different histories that has been written down through generations and generations. Where does Jewish religion come from? Right?
Does it not derive from the Sumerian text, the oldest known text, oldest known
Put it closer to the mic.
The oldest known civilization, the oldest known text,
so
religion.
Okay, I'm with you, but I feel like there's no specific time frame where like Judaism or the Abrahamic religions came from. It always comes back from a different time. The stories come all the way back to Adam, so from the day everything was created. Like, for example, when you hear the book of Enoch, it tells you when we were in the age of Leo, when the fallen angel, which was the darkness within the light, where the fallen angels came to earth, and they gave birth to giants and Nephilims, which is or demigods, you know. And there was also a flood that destroyed all of these beings, okay, and then trapped a couple of them, which was Noah, which was the age of Cancer, which was a water sign. And then you have the age of Taurus, which was Abraham. Age of Gemini, you had prophets that came down in pairs, twins, and in the Quran they tell you there's a specific time frame where all prophets came down in pairs, okay? And then you have Abraham, which is the age of Taurus, and then you have Moses, age of Aries. That's why when Moses went to the peak of the mountain and he came back, they were worshipping a bull, which was exiting the age of Taurus into the age of Aries, which is why Jews blow a ram's horn to liberate them into like their freedom, you know, like Moses guided them through his willpower, fire, energy. When God talked to Moses, it was through a burning bush.
So
fire.
How would you explain the similarities, very similar to all of the religions, because traditional religions as well as native religions, they all are similar, except for the fact that you mentioned last time that some of them worship more than one God, right?
That's the thing. So they have common ground. The only thing that God is trying to tell you through the main ones is that there's no other God but me. He's just trying to establish that point, and he's trying to make it clear to everybody that there is just one God that's able to create like the infinity, the beginning and the end. There's no picture to source.
Yeah, there's only one.
Yeah, there's only one
creator.
source.
Yeah, exactly. And that.
Yeah, 100%. And when you say that there are other gods, then you're comparing. You're giving them the kind of like respect that is given to God, and that's something that He wants to establish on His own. Do you understand?
I guess, I mean, what I'm trying to say is like, they're gods, but there was one superior always.
Yeah. So if you want to give them, like, let's say some form of their higher beings, you can say that. You can say that there are different beings, different creatures that God has created, and you could give them the respect that you want to give them based off of their own abilities. But the thing that God is telling you is that what you give your heart to is what you worship, you know? So what you give your heart to is what you worship and what you become.
Yeah,
this is what you manifest as yourself.
Your faith, your manifestation, 100%. Your intent.
Exactly.
What do you want out of yourself, right?
Exactly.
So going back to what's happening now, what's your theory on that?
Like as in
the situation, the world situation right now.
In the world situation, I just feel like there's right now it's a period of patience. It's about waiting for the right time until everything is revealed, and all of it's connected. This is talking about Didi, you know, the people that do dark magic, and the Illuminati, the people that sacrifice orphans and kids. They have rituals with blood.
Yeah.
You know, and they do this, and it's a known fact, and this is how fame is also attached to it, which is 6 of Wands, if you'd like, in magic sense. You know?
Most of the music industry is affiliated to that.
Fame is attached to a form of sacrifice or killing. Okay, but there's the intent. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's based off of the intent. If your intent is to just get famous and you will do anything for it, and you would, let's say, kill for it, then the universe is going to punish you.
Yeah, that's why you're falling into the
trap. Like 100%. Yeah, you're falling into the trap, and you're manifesting that spirit, if you'd like, by doing the actions of what that spirit is guiding you to do.
It's exterior forces that try to manipulate, and if you're not strong enough, and if you're not balanced enough, you fall into that, because humanity as a whole, we're easily influenced.
I don't think we're easily influenced. I think if you don't know yourself, you are easily influenced. If you know yourself as a person, you've been with yourself in solitude. You know who you are. You know what triggers you. You know what your weak points are. You know what your strengths are. You know, and you've suffered enough to understand how patient you need to be in order to get through it. You know, a person that doesn't know themselves will always seek validation from the outside, will always want to impress other people in order to get that validation.
The thing is, you never stop knowing yourself, because humans are beings that we transcend a lot, and we change. We constantly are in change. Your core values remain the same, but experiences forge you into a different person as you go throughout the years, right? So it's constant knowing yourself.
Yeah, and constantly
staying in that balance.
Okay, but constantly changing to like the better or for the worse.
For the better,
right? Yeah,
of course.
100%. So when you're applying that change, then you are doing, like, let's say when you go to the gym, you don't get bulk directly. You know, you need consistency to get that definition.
And as you go through the change,
there's
more obstacles that go into change
100%.
that make you grow more,
even more. But like let's take it one step at a time. It takes a specific amount of time to get to this goal, right? So that specific form of patience is necessary. Not a lot of people have that. That's why they quit gymming directly, or they would start something based off of an impulse, and then they would just shut it down because they don't have the proper drive, because they don't know who they are. Do I love have this or do I not?
Exactly.
I'm just following a specific desire at the moment. It's like an impulsive decision. When you're resonating in that frequency, you rely on other people's validation of who you are in order to function, in order to be like, all right, I'm doing things, at least I'm doing things, like at least I'm moving around, making money, I'm helping this person, I'm helping this person. But if you sit down and you're happy with who you are by yourself, like go on a retreat like you did, just meditate for a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Are you happy with yourself?
Yeah,
100%.
I think everybody should go through that. Should have that alone time, that solitude time, where you just like in nature by yourself or with a group of brothers, but you take that time to get acquainted with yourself. You challenge yourself. You push yourself. You push your limits to know what you're capable of too.
When you guys went to the retreat, did you not just like also wrestle, take time to meditate, do different things in different time frames, just to kind of like bring a balance of everything together? Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It was such a wonderful experience. Being part of the Sacred Sons, it's a brotherhood, right? So we're here to help men accomplish their true potential, like being a righteous man, honoring yourself, honoring your partner if you have a partner, your masculinity as well as your femininity, because we're both masculine and feminine, right? It's the balance,
honoring your word, your commitments,
just honorable, being an honorable man, living by good, doing good to others and helping others. Part of being part of a brotherhood is uplifting yourself. There's so many broken men out there, including myself. There was so many of us just men crying like children, at our purest essence, broken down to our core, to be reborn, to be a new man, a better man, a man with more purpose. Because sometimes you strive away from the path, right? Because life is a challenge. Life isn't that easy. Life is what you make it. And sometimes it throws curveballs at you, and you gotta learn how to catch them.
You also have to learn how to face them.
And how to face them,
I feel like the problem that you're talking about, especially when it comes to men, is that they don't face their darkness. They don't face their fear.
They run around from it.
Even
easier
women,
to run away.
Yeah, it's always like it's in general. People don't like to face their fears, but I feel like at some point, if you don't do it, then God will do it for you, and you will be exposed in front of everybody.
And in the case of men, we've been so conditioned to, we gotta be tough, we gotta be the bread makers, we gotta be the ones that go to war, that stand out. We're not the ones that can cry, we're not the ones that can be vulnerable, we're not the ones that need help. But we do. All men need that. They need to shed a tear, break down,
100%.
talk about what their fears are, what their traumas are, and just open up so they can receive and let it all out, release.
But I'll be honest with you, I also like the fact that we hold ourselves accountable to like a masculine standard. I like the fact that, let's say for example, when 3 men are in a room, we don't like to display vulnerability. When you have you and your girlfriend, it's a different story. Do you understand? It's more vulnerable in that sense because it's more nature. Like this is how nature is between a man and a woman. But between a man and a man, you always look for one thing, and that's respect. And I like the standard that we hold ourselves accountable for, because it's a higher standard than what women hold themselves at. Like we hold each other at. We look at each other for respect. A man's love language is respect. You understand that?
Yeah, I think that at that retreat, respect, competition, manliness comes out, because we did a lot of like situational like combat together. We wrestle, we box, we exercise, we challenged our bodies, we walked through the woods barefoot for at least an hour, like feeling the earth, being grounded, being masculine, but at the same time in a loving space.
Of course.
Men hugging, loving each other, crying.
100%.
It's something that's necessary, because how you could be tender and loving, and at the same time how masculine you are too. That's a true definition of balance within the masculine and the feminine. And I came back home and I was like a totally different man, more patient, more calm, more awakened. I can say it's an experience that you need. More resilient, more determined on the path. And you know what? It's just it's something that everybody needs to do. Men and women, take time. Go be alone.
100%.
Do some
Understand yourself. Like go and just search for who you are, what you're passionate about. There is a strategy. I don't know if you guys heard about it. Like the way that the Japanese samurais dissect their life, and it's also through like sacred geometry. You know, like they do a circle where they write like their passions, and then another circle or like work and life, and then another circle of what they love to do, and then another circle, I forgot what it is, but it's just and then where they all meet, this is like the peaceful state, right, where you found the all core elements. What you do for work, love, passion is all combined in one. That should be your purpose, right? And like that, you find your purpose through that. And then you could like balance where you could like just work, just friendship, just acquaintance, just, you know. So they have this strategy. It's really cool. But like what we're trying to say at least is that if you try to go and just find yourself and understand who you are as a person, you'll resonate in authenticity, you'll attract the right things. And I feel like you did that, and I want you to talk a bit more about that necklace, because I feel like it's really cool.
I got this necklace when my first trip of ayahuasca. I did it with some ladies, some shaman ladies in Toronto, and they were very wonderful. They gave me this, and the significance of this is the eye of the dragon, or the all-seeing eye, as well as the eye of the protection.
Yeah.
So during that time in my life, what ayahuasca was telling me is that I needed to protect myself. I was going down a dark path, and I needed to open my eyes more and have a protective shield, because there was too many external factors affecting me and blinding my path, right? So I was more able to see more, going back to the Awaken, to fully see the purpose without the exterior factors affecting me. And when we go to the exterior factors, I'm talking about what we were going to discuss. So it was like habits, bad habits, addictions, sex, alcohol, drugs, that whole stage of just being lost. When you get, we all go through some type of stage in our life. Some have it more impactful than others, where you just
a repetitive cycle.
A repetitive cycle, and you just can't seem to get out of it because you're addicted to the thrill, or just
no I feel like see, this is where I feel like men and women, when they do like a wrong decision or a wrong choice, this is how it connects to spirituality. If, let's say, for example, I started doing cocaine routinely for a week, okay, now I built this habit, where I'm like I'm using it. So now, like moving to the next week, it becomes more difficult for me to kind of let it go, because it became a part of my day. Now I have to like wake up, do it with my coffee or whatever, So you get lost in your night. You're now resonating in darkness, and you're continuing to resonate into further darkness because you're letting this addiction control you. So the only way out, man, is to legit cut cold turkey and just kind of sit down and force yourself to say no. It's the same way you cut off smoking. It's the same way you cut off any type of favorite food. It's the same way you cut off, like, let's say when you want to like go on a strict gym diet, you cut off specific things that you can't eat. Are we off or on?
And that's how you define how mentally prepared you are to face those challenges. Because some people can't just cut a cold turkey. I didn't want to at the beginning, but after one day I just woke up and like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Okay, but you got to that day where you sat down between you and yourself and you said, like, after this point, like, through my own word and commitment, I'm stopping.
That's it. And that cold turkey.
Correct? 100%. So, but how is that? That came from what? Willpower. You had the willpower to take that decision and shift it to a better place, and shift, like, you're shifting timelines.
Yeah. And you know what I'm realizing these days more and more? And
put it closer.
You know what I'm realizing more and more these days also, and why man groups and retreats and podcasts that give you more information are good? Because society, unfortunately, nowadays, the younger generation don't have that mental strength that the older generations had, in my opinion, because of the way they've been raised.
Because their attention span is too short.
It's
because
cell phones.
7 seconds. You have the attention span of 7 seconds.
And the distractions.
But that's. I feel like you just have to go through that. I don't feel like people that have ADHD, for example, okay, they're not. I think it's a superpower. You know,
It's a different way of thinking.
Because in my opinion, you could use that for your advantage. You know, like you have the ability to shift from one form of thinking to the next in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you could just like shift it and utilize it as a superpower. Like if this, how can this benefit me? If I have an ability that I could think of, let's say 10 different things in this time frame of a minute, you know, how can this benefit me? Maybe marketing would be a good
Highly creative. People with ADD are highly creative.
Yeah,
Business savvy, good salespeople. Like, and I realized that too as well. But going back to what the generation is going through right now, it's part of the matrix is to keep them
trapped,
close-minded and trapped.
Okay, but you also have to understand that they want to be there, bro. Like they took the decision to kind of like sit there and accept that this is what I want, or they want to be like.
They don't know any better, in my opinion.
But I can't.
They're being conditioned to this.
But I don't want to generalize, because you always have like the exception where a Gen Zer becomes like super famous or super successful, you know, or
no. But I think it depends on the parents nowadays. How they're raising them, and it's never too late. Just like it's never too late to find spirituality, religion, or to awaken, or to find the right path. It's never too late for somebody to go out there and
agree
and find the light. And
I agree, but I feel like your journey will change depending on where you decide to change your life.
And the more people are conditioned to it, and more the society is more wrapped around this matrix, the harder it will be.
Yeah, exactly. So let me explain this in this way, like through a time frame, right? Like if I shifted my way at 65, it's different than me shifting my way at 35. You know? Because if I shifted my way at 35, let's say to the better,
more farther advanced.
Then you are. I shifted my timeline way previously, like way so far ago that right now I'm resonating at a way higher, better place than I was but there's always that road where you could take, where you face your darkness and you have to go into that light. You're never going to go into the light without facing your darkness. So if you postpone it 60, 70 years down the line, you're still going to go through it in the end. You have to understand that. Yeah. That's the concept of hell, by the way, where people that, like, let's say, for example, are so stuck in this routine for so long, and they're just stuck in repetitive cycles, that they're not going to grow until they face it. That's the concept of hell, you know, where you do things repetitively and never get an accomplishment out of it.
Going back to this society thing, in my opinion, it's going to be harder for them to face it and accomplish it, because they're even afraid to go out and face the world, let alone go into their internal.
Yeah, well,
which is harder to face the exterior world. It's harder to face yourself within.
It is harder to face yourself, but man, okay, picture this. How about let's put a scenario, okay, just to make it interesting. If you were a girl, all right, you were a girl that was a bit popular, and you lived with a certain amount of people, all right, that are all family and friends. Let's say, wouldn't you want, like, at least in order for you to be comfortable, to be respected amongst all their opinions, like as a girl, right?
To be loved and respected.
Okay, now let's say they're all toxic to you, but you never knew it, because they were all you ever surrounded yourself with. They're all giving you bad advice to yourself, but you're applying every single thing because that's your environment. That's the environment.
That's where the conditioning comes.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you. Yeah.
Okay, so how would now? Let's say you went through everything and you suffered with them through that path, and now you get to a point where you say, you know what, enough is enough. I now see that they're wrong. Okay, now I have to go into the spiritual path and journey. Okay, how long do you think is it for this person to achieve?
You can't put a time on a person's journey. Everybody's different, and everybody's experience is different. Some people might take longer to heal a certain
True, that goes
trauma.
back to God.
Yeah, like, you know, some people might have worse experiences in life, or some people might have experiences that to you are not bad, but it affected them so badly that it will take them a long time. Or some people can heal overnight practically. You never know.
I don't think you can heal overnight. I don't think healing.
But what is healing to you?
I think in that part, that's actually a good question. What is healing? Remember that. But I think, like, also, like, the overnight part will be like an accumulation, of experiences until like you reach this moment, which actually in Japanese culture they call it satori. When satori, it's like an illumination of the moment, but that illumination actually happens because there's factors, that happen in your experience previously.
So it's
that create this overnight.
Yeah. It's like going back to when you told me, like when I told you, one day I just woke up and like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. Okay.
That's like kind of like,
but
one day you just.
Okay, but don't you think, for example, you had the discipline to when you took that decision, you already had inner self healing from prior like decision?
No, I think I was just lost in
so
from all the situations that were happening, accumulating, getting into trouble.
So question: Were you fat? Were you a person that, let's say, didn't have a job?
No, none of that.
Okay, so you were a person that was disciplined enough to keep yourself healthy, and you were a person that was disciplined enough to keep yourself working and achieving specific goals. Okay, so you had that. Not everybody could do that. Do you get what I'm saying? Some people can't do that. Some people don't have the discipline to do that because they're homeless. They want to do drugs all the time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Some people don't have the means.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
But I met homeless people
who changed their life.
Discipline. Yeah, who changed their life. And they're still homeless, but at least they changed their lives.
Okay, but it wasn't overnight. It was through specific suffering time frame that they had suffered, where they accumulated specific things, and then they accomplished through specific spiritual growth that, all right, I've come to terms with my suffering, I've accomplished it, I've went through my darkness, and now it's time to grow.
Okay, so what I mean by change overnight is when you realize that you're not living in your full potential and you make the decision to go.
Okay.
That's the change that you require. And a lot of the times, not a lot of people can change overnight. Not a lot of people can have that grasp. But it takes longer to think about it, right? And
obviously. No, but I get what you mean. Like, it's that impulsive second where it's like I made that decision to take it, even though it was a process to get there, but it was an impulsive second.
Yeah, it's a little spark that lights the flare to your life.
Yeah, 100%. I get what you mean. But that doesn't mean that like the inner work that I've done to get to this point, is labeled as like invaluable. It's all valuable even until that point. It's not like I healed overnight. It's like I've been doing the healing, but through the healing process I got to this point where I was able to take a decision to move in this direction.
So what is healing to you? So let me ask
healing to me, man, is doing the right things. So okay, let me explain it to you this way. The plane that we operate on is a plus-minus system. When you sin, you put negative into the world. Okay, when you lie, when you do anything that is wrong, you're putting a -1 into the universe. When you do a good deed, into any good deed, you help the poor, but with good intent, obviously, not like, I'm doing it just to do a good deed, with pure intent to help and make everything grow. You're planting good seeds into the universe. So it's a plus, for you. It's actually a +10. So each good deed is a +10, each sin is a -1. So if you were to accumulate, like, let's say,
how much you have to accumulate to heal, in your opinion?
Well, you have to accumulate a certain amount for the balance, for the balance to be fair in your favor, and for judgment to be in your favor, but you have to do it in a way where you are honestly and genuinely helping people, not in the intent where I just want to save my soul. It's in the intent of like, not only do I want to save my soul, I want to help other people save their souls too.
I think, to me, healing starts as soon as you make the conscious decision that you need to change. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the start of your healing. To me, that's the healing overnight, when you make that conscious decision that you're going to change. Okay. And from there is the beginning, and that's where what I mean by you heal overnight. You realize that you need this, and that's where you're going to go.
I'm not doubting that. 100%.
It's kind of like when you become self-aware.
Yeah.
No, it's always. I'm saying, but okay. Before you got to that decision making, before you got to that point, okay, were there not signs that you had to experience?
Oh yeah, everything was going wrong.
Yeah.
I was like spending too much.
Yeah, and but even like you getting to that form of clarity in your mind, that process of going through everything that led to that clarity in your mind in the end.
There's always something subconsciously that happens that you might not realize
100%.
until that day when you're like, wake up and you're like, what? And then that everything just hits. It's like, poof.
I think that it didn't hit you as a surprise. I think you already knew about it.
Yeah, subconsciously you already know.
Yeah,
That's the moment when you put everything together.
100%. So I feel like you just needed to get to that point,
to that limit.
Yeah, to that limit to just kind of like shift. So this is also a part of the healing. It's kind of like, how much darkness can you take until that limit, and then you just go like, boom, I have to shift, I have to change.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, I get it 100%.
You know, me as a shaman, I see some of my friends sometimes, who just go into bad patterns, and I try to kind of like guide them, because I am no one to change the path of anyone. So it's like, hey, maybe if you don't drink that much or you don't smoke that much, maybe you can like balance more your life, and they don't listen. But everybody is free to do whatever.
No, see, that's free.
But you see that,
They never listen.
Yeah,
they have to learn on their own.
The only thing you can do is like share it.
100%. Your job.
If they even ask it, because that's another thing I learned. I stopped telling people things that they don't ask me. I want to do good, but
they don't take it the same.
No, people get very offended actually. So
they do.
They don't like, particularly they don't like it when you kind of like read it, because you know how to perceive energy, right? So energy doesn't lie.
No.
You can lie to me, but your energy won't lie to me.
100%. Yeah.
So
you can say whatever you want, but your energy is pretty clear. Like I could tell if you're a friend or if you're an enemy. I could tell if you, 100%.
Yeah.
It's from the vibration of the heart. It's not from the mind. People,
some people get lost. They get confused.
The mind will make you lost.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you perceive your reality from your senses, not from your heart, which aka your heart, I will say it's your soul.
Yeah.
Because it's from the life comes from. Like without your heart, you're done.
That's a very interesting point.
Because you can have brain, but your body still can be alive.
Okay, so in Jewish literature, they say two things. If a person has a hard heart, like a person that has no empathy whatsoever, is a person that has a dark heart. So is a person that is far from God. A person that has empathy, a person that can feel with his heart, okay, is a person that is close to God. So it's like, and they say this, it's demon hand, Mashiach heart. So demon hand, Buddha heart, It's not Buddha hand, demon heart. So it's not like what I show to people, but I have malice intent within me. I have a demon hand to discipline and give righteous order and righteous justice, with a Buddhist heart, with empathy to people, with empathy and mercy to people.
The compassion, they call it. Yeah.
100%.
No, it's true. It's some people, they just have to learn their own way. Like, no matter how much you give people advice, they'll never listen to you.
Well, I will say like that's also like a self-awareness journey to go, because we call it in these days gaslighting yourself. So you're gaslighting yourself, telling people how good you are and how good you're doing in the world, which actually in the back your intentions are not what you're saying. They're not pure. Exactly.
There's a saying, humans are the only species on Earth that is capable of tripping on the same rock more than 3 times. Like, we can keep making the same mistake over and over again until we learn.
But we never learn. No, but I'll be honest with you. I think this is something that we shouldn't frown
it's
upon.
Like, yeah,
but wait. Mr. Miyagi, wipe off, right? You got to do something repetitively in order for you to master it. So it has to be done in a repetitive way, but it's only it's about the amount of time it takes you. I feel like that's where you should judge yourself on. How long does it take you to pass this cycle? If it takes you long enough, then you're going to judge yourself in a negative way. You're going to lose some confidence.
Okay. We're going to do our last second pause, because it's just done. And what was the question? Okay, how long it takes you to get the cycle done?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so the question was,
how long does it take to break the cycle? But I feel like the more interesting question would be, what are the necessary steps needed to be taken in order to break the cycle, to get out of the darkness and start your healing journey? So we'll start with Rico first.
What are the necessary steps? I guess there's fundamental steps that you have to take in your own journey. In my own personal opinion, is realizing that I wasn't following my path.
Okay.
Acknowledging that I wasn't doing the right
Things. Okay.
Yeah. So once you realize that this is not where you belong, you're past this stage of your life and you're meant for better things. That's the first step to realizing that you need to heal.
Aligning yourself.
Align yourself. You give yourself the knowledge and the permission to let go of that old self.
Okay.
And once you realize that, in my opinion, this is what I did. Once I realized that I'm meant for better things, and this is what actually makes me feel alive. Because I was living like this, like just blinded. I didn't know where I was going. And now that I can see where I belong, it gives me that purpose to follow that journey, because 100%. I feel really good. Like, money doesn't make me feel like this.
100%.
Sex, drugs, nothing. I just feel this amazing love,
because you
peace.
Are resonating.
Yeah, I'm resonating with love.
Yeah, you're resonating at the higher level, like where you're supposed to be resonating, right?
So I want to keep in keeping this frequency. Yeah. So in order to do that, you have to continue to do the work.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to get to. What are the works that you have done to get you out of darkness?
Plant medicine, a lot of meditation, breathing, acknowledging that I have traumas, dealing with my childhood traumas, therapy,
taking
accountability, therapy, brotherhood, sacred community, rituals, masculinity, getting back to the old ways, ancient traditions, shamanic rituals, a lot of different experiences that have helped me align myself.
Okay, so I think 100%, by the way, I agree. Like, this is one of many ways that you can start healing yourself. But like, a specific way that you could also heal yourself is by doing good deeds, because it's a plus minus system. So if you were to, let's say, for example, help the homeless. Let's say for example, you're going through a rough time. All right, you'd still take whatever money you'd have and you'd give to your surroundings. You would feed the poor. You would always do that just to have a sense of like belonging. If you're resonating in a dark place, do good deeds, and then you start to like accumulate the pluses in your balance. So then you become more, you start to awaken, you start to see yourself, you start to know yourself, you start to see who you actually are. And then you could start building off of like, where do I need to resonate,
But before doing good deeds, you need to be good to yourself.
Of course, no, 100%.
Good to your mind, good to your body, good to your soul. Then you can do good to others.
You can't be good to others without being good to yourself.
Self-love.
It always starts with you.
And it all goes to love, right? Once you resonate with love, you resonate in high frequency and positivity. Give out positive thinking, positive emotions, which is what you're saying. Good deeds. It's positivity. The moment you start thinking negatively, that's what's going to happen. 100%. Because you're manifesting negative things, right? So that's what the universe is going to give you back.
So I also see it in a way where like the way I think, right, is like my life is going to be played in front of everybody one day. So if let's say for example, we're sitting right now and we're talking behind someone else's back, right? And if you were to envision your life where my life is going to be played out in front of everybody one day, then you'd know that the person that you're speaking about is going to watch this movie. He's going to watch you speaking behind his back. So how would you categorize yourself there? Wouldn't you feel a bit shameful? Wouldn't you feel a bit like, let's say, dishonorable because as a man, because you dishonored someone else, right? Because it's everything that you put out, you reap what you sow, you get back, right? So if I, let's say, continuously lie, that's the people that I'm going to attract. If I continuously, it always comes back.
And that's your reality. That's a reality you create.
Yeah.
That's the frequency you bring in.
100%.
You lie, you steal, you cheat. That's what comes back to you.
100%.
That's all and that's what your environment is going to be.
Yeah.
So you never emerge from that because you're living in a constant state of negativity.
Exactly. So which is why you always have to surround yourself with people that have positivity and want to see you grow and be the better version of yourself. You always have to surround yourself with people that share the same vision as you, okay? And you always have to be like there's strength in numbers, but we all have to have the same goal, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You know that. If you spend if your friend group is all dumbasses or idiots, sorry to say it, then you're probably stupid too, you know. But
And I believe that the foundation starts with yourself. With yourself. Then I talk with my hands.
Yeah.
With yourself. Then with your family.
yeah,
And then from your family, you expand to your friendship, and that's where you cultivate those good relationships. You know.
it's so weird that you said that, by the way, because it also correlates to the houses, right? So the first house is self. Second house is like your immediate environment. Third house is like your friend group, you know? That's why it's about communication. Fourth house is your foundation. It's the stability. It's like you and your wife, you know?
Yeah.
And then it keeps going. So it's the same with even with the cycles. Like it's just weird that you said it. I feel like it's interesting.
And in reality, it's you have to be selective who you surround yourself with. Align yourself with people that have the same type of vibe, they do the same frequency, people that are honest and truthful.
100%.
Because and there's always going to be exterior
Righteous,
factors.
righteous. Righteous. I like that word because righteous, honorable.
Yeah.
Like for example, a person that like has an honorable death. You know, not the person that will, let's say, just talk behind your back and just like
Respectful,
100%.
respectful to yourself, to your family, to your other friends. Just
Exactly.
respect. And then once you achieve that foundation in your life, it makes everything easier, and you can heal through community as well.
100%.
And because that is your community, yourself, your family, and your immediate friends.
Yeah, and you just don't want to be around people that, and this is something I want the viewers to know. Like, don't surround yourself with people that criticize you continuously, okay? Because this is when a lot of people get trapped through that form of criticism. Because of the way people are controlled, like the way they're raised, you know, to be a slave. You know, so when someone is very critical of you and they criticize you, they make them feel this big, and it kind of like humiliates them in a way and puts them through a form of shame, you know, and they are able to control them this way. So understand that people that want the best for you,
they lift you up.
They lift you up, you know. And if they want to like tell you something to make you better, they wouldn't criticize you in front of everybody, or they wouldn't make you feel this way.
And they worry about you, and they tell you like,
100%.
you know, do better. There's the people that tell you what's real, you know,
and understand
you're messing up.
100%.
You're really messing up. You're not gonna change your life.
Exactly.
Those fake friends, they won't tell you that.
Exactly. And you gotta be aware on who's a good friend, who's a fake friend, and you gotta like know who you're surrounding yourself with, right? It's proper discernment, because you probably surrounded yourself with bad people. I did, you know. Yeah,
everybody does.
Yeah, when we surrounded ourselves with bad people at the time, how much energy did they take from you?
A lot.
How much did they,
and
financially even? Like,
everything. And then all of a sudden you realize people don't really deserve your energy. You choose who you give your energy to.
Yeah, but at the beginning, remember, people, that it's about trying, right? Because you're a kid, you don't understand what you're doing. And that beginning is that you start trying too hard. And then you realize that all you're trying was like vanished, because there's other ways. Yeah. And then these other ways go to self-awareness. And it's with, okay, I don't care about the validation no more, you know. Now I'm just going to do it for me.
Yeah, because I know exactly who I am and what I want to accomplish, 100%, man. And you do it for yourself. And through doing it by yourself, you heal the environment as well, because you are resonating in the absolute truth of where you should be. 100%.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
But the hard work is the part, like, you know, like nobody wants to do. You know,
because the hard work is about you facing your own fears, man. It's about what makes you feel fearful. Like, what form of judgment? Like, let's say, for example, Diego, let's say everybody is judging you in a very wrong way. I guarantee you this will hurt you. Correct or no?
Yes.
If everybody you loved around you judged you in a wrong way, how would you feel?
Hurt and misunderstood.
Yeah, and how would you heal from that?
By addressing it.
Yeah, how?
Addressing it first, like expressing my concerns, like why I feel like this way, and how can I manage to transform it, since there are people that I love and that I would love to keep in my life, and like.
And you will cut other people's and set boundaries.
And some people, yeah, exactly. You will put like some boundaries or respect, as we just were calling previously. You know, with some people you're gonna hang out more often, and some people you're gonna have like way less often, and some people like you're never gonna hang out at all.
Yeah.
And there's some people that they make it hard on themselves. That's it. It's hard. That's why it's called hard work. But once you do it, you have to realize that it gets easier.
Yeah.
Because the reward is so much greater than the effort.
But don't you think that life is a cycle? Like life is always ups and downs. So whoever is like experiencing a high moment at some point will experience a low moment.
Yes.
And the person that's experiencing a low moment will experience a high moment at some point.
But they become, I believe that the low moments, as you grow more wiser, more awakened, and more selective,
yes.
The low moments are not as low as you used to go.
Yeah.
Low moments may have, you have a bad day, you know, oh shit, I ran out
no,
of
but
milk.
like you could, yeah, but you could get to a lower point.
Yeah, you got more tools to deal with it.
To deal with it, exactly.
Yeah, but,
so, you know.
But you can get to a lower point. Like, let's say, for example, you try to run a project and you get into debt and then you lose everything. And now you're in debt and you just end up in prison because you can't pay the debt.
Well, then
you can't say that you have the proper tools right now because technology is better. It's not as the same as it was. We have more stricter rules, on how we're judged on in society. Like, for example, even when you park your car, you have to pay before you get a ticket. Every 2 hours. Did they have that problem with horses before? No, like it's not. It's just with the times, like we have different circumstances. You can get arrested at any point, let's say, if you don't pay the debt, so.
Yeah, but I mean, when you get it put in that way, like,
is it easier for cops to find you now with technology, or is it harder like back then? Was it not harder back then because they didn't have enough cameras?
It's easier now.
It's easier now. They have everything,
now.
So like it's. I get what you're saying, but like it's.
But why would you put yourself in a situation that you go really to that path where you already have the tools
to what?
to deal with them beforehand? We're talking about when you're more. I was saying that your lows are less low because now you have the tools to deal with it.
Yeah.
But you said, what if you get into a financial situation and you have
well,
a project?
I just got into this.
Okay. So.
Yeah. But like you're right. I think we should end this, man. Like I feel like we talked about everything that we need to talk about, but like I wanted to end it before. I feel like I spoke a lot. I can't, like that's all I'm saying.
Well, it has been amazing to have you here, both of you.
I love you guys.
Thank you, brother.
No, for sure. Like it's a re-journey that we are like just like develop. Like in terms of ideas, in terms of perceptions, and in terms of like our own consciousness.
100%. I feel like we should do this again. Like we should talk about more like just have like spirituality, expand a bit more on it, especially when we go to like retreats like Nicaragua. You're going in February. Like, I would love for you to talk a bit more about your friend group, the
Sacred Sons.
Yeah.
It's a brotherhood, and we're planning a trip to Nicaragua to do it at Shaman's Eco Lodge, Summer Lodge. So we're planning it now. So the logistics is going to be around February or something.
100%.
So we'll give you more details as we progress in that, and it'll be great if you can come and experience from a different perspective. Something different than what your own set of beliefs. Get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, but like I would love to do it. I would love to be outside my comfort zone. But like I also understand, like I you know what I'm saying. Like I don't think we're gonna go to that side of the ritualistic behavior, because I think rituals specifically give power to a specific spirit. You get what I'm saying? So if let's say, for example, I'm doing a ritual right now that's empowering a specific spirit that's not God, to me is a no-no, because I would only do that for him.
If you ever invite me to your place of worship, I'll gladly go myself.
I would go. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, but you understand what I'm trying to tell you. It's just like
it goes against your beliefs. So
no. If there's a ritual that empowers an entity or gives this specific entity a specific power, like let's
you don't have to do anything that you're not.
No, but the kind of like ritual, if I also get it from Rico, is the part of like connecting with yourself and connecting with nature.
That
100%. And if you are a believer of God, you believe in God. If you're not a believer of God, you believe in the universe.
Yeah, grounding, 100%. Even rituals for self-growth, 100%. Meditation, 100%. Being with inner peace and inner solitude and all of that, I'm with you all the way.
Yeah, there's people from all types of religions.
I'm just talking about the rituals that have specifically, like for example, they would do a ritual on Halloween
No, we don't do it.
No, let's say, because let's say Halloween is a specific date that's very important, and even the time frame of it is very important, because Halloween is on October 31st. So it's the end of Libra season, and it's the entry into Scorpio, and the Scorpio is the entry of the winter seasons. So you have Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, which are the winter seasons, the dark seasons.
Yeah, but rest assured that there's no type of ritual in that type that we do to honor.
That's good. But I'm just talking about those rituals because they empower specific entities, and when you empower specific entities, you give them a specific sense of like worship. Like it's kind of like I'm bringing the spirit to life through my actions. And I'm doing what it wants me to do. And I only do that through God. Only God can tell me how to do things.
But those rituals are different because
I know it's not the same.
These rituals are not about God.
I know
God or gods.
It's about
but inner healing.
I know it's not the same. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about those rituals because I've seen specific magic rituals that have been done specific, even with.
So for everybody who's all the viewers, who's watching this podcast. Now we know it's not about black magic.
It's not about black magic.
It's about like healing or self, healing your consciousness. Connecting more to nature, and if you're a believer of God, it's your connection with God.
Of course,
if you just have an agnostic belief of like you just understand the universe or consciousness as it is, well you do you.
You're just gonna go and discover yourself. Yeah. It's a form of solitude amongst brothers. Yeah. Solitudes and support. It's like a support system because you have your moments where you go and reflect by yourself. Yeah. And you're like, wow, I didn't know this part about me, this aspect about me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm really down. If it's a healing journey, I've told you everything that is about self, inner peace, healing, I'm all about.
I'll give you the webpage. So you can see and read.
like even to promote it to people the right way, inner healing, grounding, finding self, and actually healing like damage.
Brotherhood. It's a brotherhood. Men need to align with men and have that masculinity around them because we are the protectors. We are the ones that have to spread the light in this world through our feminine counterparts too.
And that's something I agree because men in Judaism represent the light and women represent the darkness, and it's not about destroying darkness, it's about disciplining darkness. Darkness was never meant to be destroyed, it was meant to be explored, but it's meant to be disciplined. That's why I tell you, like, it's okay, like God will forgive you if you drank alcohol, God will forgive you if you smoke weed, but as long as you are in control.
And darkness is not necessarily a bad thing, it's what brings balance. Like, for example, in Catholicism they say that the devil is the snake that gave Adam the apple to eat it through Eve. It's not the case. In spirituality, the snake is the bringer of wisdom. The one that opened up our third eye and gave us the freedom of free will.
Okay.
It's the awakenness. But it was flipped by the church, just to use it as a source of evil, like you said, the darkness and light.
But I do believe that there is an association with the snake and darkness.
Well, it's a perception.
It's a perception, yeah.
It is a perception.
Native cultures use the snake as a symbol that represents...
Yeah, because remember, like, we as humans, at least, we need symbology to understand our life. This is the only way in our, like, I would say, like, pretty and very, like, remote knowledge, because it's so tiny versus the universe, that we understand or perceive our reality.
No, but snakes, like, they have a specific, like, role that they played, but not in a sense where, like, yes, he gave you knowledge, yes, but was this knowledge something that...
Well, listen, all knowledge have effect, right? It's a cause and effect. Mm-hmm. If I give you something, you do whatever you want with it, but it goes on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, what if like God saw that maybe the best outcome for us, okay, was not this route? What makes us think that we know better than Source?
That will be a question for the next episode.
I agree.
Okay.
So thank you guys. Thank you, Primo.
Thank you for having us.
Leo.
Appreciate it.
We gotta do it again.
Yeah.